Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, now I don't know how much interest there is on this topic. Honestly, whether there's any interest at all, considering this individual is kind of a meme, a news media one-hit wonder from back in like 2015 or 2016. But do you guys remember the liberal Sherpa? An individual by the name of Kathy, if I'm not mistaken, who made several interesting appearances on Tucker Carlson's show back in the day. Here's a little flashback, a highlight reel, we could call it, I guess.
It's about not necessarily labeling the baby. It's about allowing the baby to decide what gender that baby wants to be when that baby can decide, which is around 4 years old. We are bringing a little human into the world. Who cares about the genitalia? Babies aren't different. They're little human beings, and there's really not much of a difference between different genders. No, she's exploiting it. It's appropriation because she is taking advantage of a culture she doesn't really know much about.
Why isn't that an even more effect? And just gets on the plane and has a glass of champagne and doesn't think about the contribution of these Ohio brothers to flight. That's not cultural appropriation?
They are, but I don't think that they're getting anything. They're not hurting anyone, and they're not offending anyone by doing so. And when she put on that dress, she hurt and offended others, and that's what happened.
She really hurt them. Maybe she should go to...
And they're learning as much as they can. They're as stressed as can be, so they need psychological health. They need this bioenergetic way to get out their stress. They need 10 minutes of a good cry and a cry closet to then be prepared to take those exams. You're asking a baby for bodily... You're asking the baby to express bodily autonomy. I think that's the big point here. I think it's the idea of discussing it with the baby. The consent, I don't think, is necessarily the issue. It's the idea. The baby can't talk during the diaper years.
Well, here we go again. Another out-of-their-mind woke leftist has been arrested and charged with a terrible crime. I mean, we were just talking about Sam Brinton, the nuclear expert working in the Biden administration, and then we get hit with this one. Isn't it funny how the most woke, the most compassionate, the ones who say it so loudly and with such authority, the ones who seek to control, to monopolize all of the virtue, these are the best people in society, is what they tell you. Isn't it funny how so many of them are either terrible people who end up being canceled or end up going to prison and are exposed as deeply flawed individuals and criminals? Here's another example. The infamous liberal Sherpa has just been arrested. I got someone to show you guys, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, here it is from Blaze Media, or The Blaze. Former liberal Sherpa on Fox News accused of kidnapping and swindling her mother out of $224,000. A liberal pundit who once made regular appearances on Fox News has now been accused of committing all kinds of atrocities against her mother so that she could steal the woman's money and assets. Catherine, or Kathy Arroyo Jones, not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sure someone's gonna eat me up in the comment section, but anyways, 51, the liberal Sherpa, who used to appear regularly on Tucker Carlson Tonight and gave an often contrarian opinion about various issues, has been arrested after prosecutors say she kidnapped her 88-year-old mother, admitted her into assisted care facilities under false pretenses, and seized hundreds of thousands of dollars of the woman's cash, assets, and credit. Investigators first began looking into Jones in 2019 when the Department of Children and Families received disturbing reports that she had committed elder abuse against her mother, whose name has not been given. Jones twice used a revoked power of attorney to involuntarily place her mother in assisted living facilities so that she could take financial gain of her mother's banking account, said the press release from the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office. First, Jones allegedly lured her mother out of the home under the pretense of going on an ice cream outing with her grandchildren. Once out of the home, Jones then transported her mother to an assisted living facility and told caretakers there that her mother had suffered from dementia, the report claims. While her mother called another loved one for help, Jones allegedly returned to the facility and demanded that officials there take away the woman's phone and bar her from having visitors. When DCF personnel and medical teams at the facility determined that the woman did not have dementia, she was released. On another occasion, Jones and a co-conspirator physically removed the woman from her home and admitted her into another facility, the press release claimed. A concerned neighbor contacted police after discovering the missing woman's shoes in the driveway and her front door wide open. The list of financial crimes Jones has also supposedly committed against her mother is extensive. She reportedly created or altered a quitclaim deed so that she could take over the title to her mother's home, though her mother denies ever signing the document. All of the proceeds of a reverse mortgage, which her mother did voluntarily monetarily sign, were directed into accounts which Jones controlled, the report says. Other financial records suggest that Jones opened credit cards in her mother's name and used them herself. There are also several suspicious withdrawals from the woman's bank account that may be connected to Jones. In all, investigators believe that Jones stole $224,000 from her mother. The state attorney's office Elder Exploitation Task Force in the Miami-Dade Police Department have actually attempted to apprehend Jones since June, when a judge first signed a warrant for her arrest. However, Jones supposedly fled the area, even traveling as far as Mexico to evade arrest. On Friday, Jones was arrested and charged with several felonies including kidnapping, false imprisonment, exploitation of the elderly, conspiracy to commit organized scheme to defraud, conspiracy to commit organized scheme to defraud, and fraudulent use of personal identification. She is currently being held without bond. Jones, then known as Cathy Arroyo, used to appear frequently on the Tucker Carlson Tonight Show to give a leftist perspective on various political and cultural issues, but her appearances stopped several years ago. Then in the summer of 2020, she and former Fox News producer accused several on-air FNC personalities, including Tucker Carlson and a fellow host, Sean Hannity, of harassment in an adult kind. A judge later dismissed Arroyo's lawsuit. And so how many times do we have to see situations like this? You know, this kind of comes back to what I was mentioning in the Sam Brinton video, how the current left-wing culture is just rife for exploitation and manipulation. It's just so easy. You know how easy my life would be if I decided that I was gonna be an out-of-my-mind leftist? I could say what I want, I could do what I want, no repercussions to my actions essentially. Just be a commie, a cultural Marxist, and you can say and get away with whatever you want. I mean, look at Hassan, look at Vosh, look at the rest of these leftist clowns on Twitch, look at Sam Bankman-Fried, look at Juicy Smollett. It's a world for the taking for all the sociopathic, manipulative con artists. It's no coincidence that we continue to see these types of situations, because left-wing ideology is all false virtue and emotional manipulation. This whole liberal Sherpa thing, this Cathy Arroyo character is honestly a microcosm or a smaller representation of the whole thing. This is what the Democrat Party is about. This is what modern liberalism is about. Or we'll just call it leftism, because I think that's unfair to classical liberalism. It's manipulation. Look at me. Look how much of a good character I am. Look how compassionate I am. Look at all of this virtue listed on my resume. I care so much about the people, the minorities, those of different identities. I respect all of your identities. But really, all it is a virtue grift to benefit yourself. That's what the Democrat Party does every single election cycle. The only difference between the Cathy Arroyo thing and the Democrat Party is the size of the grift. I mean, it's such a cliche if you think about it. You know, I'm automatically suspicious of overly nice people. People who are always complimenting you, people who seem fake, almost always have an ulterior motive. They're trying to manipulate you because they want something from you. It's the Ellen DeGeneres phenomenon. Be kind was her motto. Ellen DeGeneres, philanthropist, always with a big smile, the nice person on TV. Behind the scenes, literally abusive to her staff, generally accused of being abusive and a terrible person behind the scenes. James Corden, we saw the same thing. And of course, Chrissy Teigen joins the list. It's a cliche for a reason. It's a stereotype for a reason. Because in general, it's true. It's not true across the board. I mean, not every leftist, not every Democrat is a terrible person masked in fake virtue, but there's certainly a lot of it going around. And honestly, leftoids do it to themselves. They put themselves in a position where they're easy to manipulate. The left-minded collective doesn't actually care about policies. They don't care about results. They don't care about transparency. It's nothing but virtue. Just make me feel good. Tell me you're gonna give me $10,000. I'll vote for you, then I'll get scammed after the midterms are over. Tell me you care about black people. Black lives matter. Put the fist up in the air. I'll burn down buildings with you because we're racism or something. Take all of my money, BLM. And then of course, well, you saw what happened there. It's basically a bigger Cathy Arroyo scam. I mean, we see it over and over again. Zelensky is a war hero. Take my money, Ukraine. But again, where is that money going? Nobody knows. The left-wing voter is the most gullible, most naive, and easiest to manipulate. And that is why we see these characters and these organizations over and over again doing the same damn thing. This liberal Sherpa woman, this Cathy Arroyo person, all she had to do was act like the most insane, crazy kind of lunatic, and it put her in positions of power. I think she was working for a couple publications at some point. People were taking her seriously even though she was a fundamentally unserious character. All she had to promote was the flavor of the month, crazy liberal grift idea, and the rest would work itself out. The left-wing collective would make sure that she would see the benefits of preaching the cultist rhetoric. And so I guess all of this just to say, it's a cult.